mindset or fixed mindset? Our today's guest is all about growth mindset and how growth mindset promotes an individual to grow, learn, and actually achieve their goals. Today, we have someone who is a firm believer of maximizing team efficiency. She has over 10 years of recruitment experience with a mix of agency and corporate recruiting. The woman on 10 Minutes of Hiring Wisdom today, Emily. Hi, Emily. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, thank you so much for actually agreeing to come on as a guest. How's the pandemic been treating you?
I think, like everyone, we've had to make some adjustments to our expectations, to our lifestyle, but a lot of great things have come out of it as well.
I'm glad to hear that, especially because a lot of businesses are struggling. So I'm glad to hear that some businesses are doing quite well.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Emily, can you,
Innovation.
sorry, innovation, agree. I think adapting to the current situations and making sure that you know that, okay, this is the situation and just going with it is something that makes you be ahead of the game as opposed to businesses that are like, no, we are not going to adapt to it.
Right.
So things are working out well. So, Emily, can you tell us a little about your career journey and where you're currently working?
Yeah, so I think like most people, my career journey has not been linear in any way. I actually had a degree in communications, pursued public relations. I really loved public relations, and prior to that, actually a little bit of interior design. And when I was making a move to Colorado, reached out to an agency, a recruiting agency, to get some assistance in finding a job, and they actually approached me about becoming a recruiter, and so from there it just kind of took off. I think I realized in the agency world, I what I missed was developing relationships and building out teams and having those connections. And so when I went in house, first when I moved to Staples, I knew that that was going to be a long-term fit for me. Just being able to build out those teams, meet the people you hire, and actually see those people succeed even within the company.
So you're a very social person, is that correct?
I'd say so. I've been known to be an extrovert.
Okay, I can see that, especially because you've been focused on building relationships and building teams. And just curious as to when you're building a team, what is something that you're looking for in a company, for example?
Well, I think, as I made a change recently, I think one of the things I was really focusing on was just my own happiness. And so I think when you look for a company, you look for their culture, and really the people you meet and how you interact with them, and kind of how they present themselves and how they speak about the company and the leaders. And so, whether if I'm building out my own team, I think what I always look for is people who are strong communicators, people who are individual motivated, themselves, like intrinsically. And then when I'm helping leaders build out their teams, I think it becomes far more fun and dynamic because you can help them see, maybe some of the holes that they don't see, ask some really in-depth questions to help them think about what their team looks like current day, and then how do we help them build it for future, and what those pieces might look like for their future needs.
I like how you were after your happiness and then you look for the mission and vision because a lot of people usually go after the money and then they realize they're not really happy at that place, which is why a lot of people end up struggling and not wanting to get out of bed every single day,
Yeah.
knowing that they're not contributing to something that they're passionate about. So kudos to you for actually going after your happiness because a lot of people don't do that at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, I think
So
COVID has given a lot of us some time to maybe slow down and reflect, and that's been part of this process. It's just what is really important to me, and I think being present wherever I'm at is has been a challenge, and so that was one of the things that I think brings me happiness.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. So where are you currently working, Emily?
I am currently at Red Canary, which is I would say an internet security firm, startup. And so it's been really fun to one, be in a startup environment, because I came from Fortune 500 companies, and that's been incredible, valuable experience. But to bring that into something that's on the fast track for growth, and something that I believe is really important for our future, has been really exciting.
I'm glad to hear that. So, are you guys currently hiring? If people are looking for jobs, are you guys hiring?
We are hiring. Since I'm so new, I don't have any actual requisitions or jobs myself yet, but it looks like we're hiring some pretty unique blends of roles and some pretty niche experience, but we are always hiring.
Okay, perfect. That's good to hear. So, for example, if I were to apply to your company, how do you usually, like, if, for example, you're new to this company, but you've had a technical experience of recruiting people, how do you assess applicants, and what is something that people can do to increase their chances of getting that dream job that they've always wanted?
Yeah. Um, so my ability to assess technical talent does vary based on the role itself, since I'm not technical myself.
Okay.
But I think what I really bring to the table and in the recruiting process is, first off, looking at the basic qualifications. I think if you as an applicant can look at the basic qualifications and say, yes, I meet all these check boxes, in terms of years of experience or technical capabilities, and not only that, but you enjoy doing those things, then I think that that's a really good sign that you should apply for that job, and that you'd be a good fit for the job. What I bring to the table, for the hiring managers without having all the technical skills, is understanding what motivates a person, and if that aligns with our company organization and culture, and if they fit the mission and values of what we're trying to develop and succeed, and carry on as we build out the company itself.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But you did mention regarding how specifically people like making sure that you check all the boxes and making sure you can communicate that you align with the culture. How can one show, for example, I just submitted a resume. How can one show that they're actually aligned with the culture and the values of that specific company? Because you're just a person behind the paper currently.
Yeah, I think some of it is incorporating the terminology, but that you see on, for example, using Red Canary. If you look at our website and you look at kind of what they talk about in terms of their values, incorporating that language into how you write your resume, some of the same terminology, and even in your communications, if you reach out to someone, or if we have an email exchange, following up. Uh, me reaching out, or you trying to reach out directly, just even sharing that you've done the homework, like you did look at the site, you are passionate about this one thing, or align with these specific things. I think every company, and every recruiter really wants to know that you want to work at this company, and we're not just another applicant that you or application that you push out.
Well, thank you so much, Emily. That is definitely helpful, especially adding the terminology, making sure you do your research. And our 10 minutes are currently up. That was fast because it was lovely speaking with you. This is your host, Manal Bukhari, signing off. Thank you so much for joining us, Emily.